As we approach 30 years since the bombing at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, we are learning how Oklahoma healthcare was changed forever. Plus, more proposed cuts at NOAA, how it could impact the campus community.
Plus, we have a wet holiday weekend coming up here in Oklahoma. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Sophia Cabrera.
And I'm Emma McAndrews. As we approach 30 years since the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building bombing, we are sharing stories on how the events of April 19th, 1995 changed Oklahoma.
OU Nightly reporter Abigail Franklin is live with us here in the studio. Abigail, trauma care was changed forever after that day.
It certainly was, along with so many others across the state. But Oklahoma's healthcare system was faced with a challenge that day, but continues to learn and change because of the lessons that April 19th gives us.
It's not something that's supposed to happen in places like Oklahoma City. It's not something that's supposed to happen.
First responders were some of the very first on the site who began the rescue and recovery efforts almost immediately.
It was a day of darkness in Oklahoma City.
The Oklahoma City bombing was the largest domestic terrorism act in the United States up until.
A large attack forcing the Oklahoma City healthcare system to react fast.
And this happened well before I think most people were prepared for something like this. Certainly in the state at the time, we didn't have a trauma system.
All registered nurses are being asked to call the Oklahoma Registered Nurse Association.
So in 1995, there was not a level 1 trauma center, at least not in Oklahoma.
A healthcare system that would be stretched thin in a matter of minutes.
There are a number of fatalities, but we still don't have a specific number on that. We do know that dozens and dozens of people have been transported to hospitals throughout the metro area.
But one day brought 30 years of light.
Based off the Oklahoma City bombing, OU Health stepped up with the legislators and became a verified level 1 trauma center in 2001.
It was a new beginning for taking care of Oklahomans and a new beginning for a nation trying to make sense of April 19th, 1995.
But this certainly hit that made, I think, the United States as a whole aware of the importance of trauma care in a comprehensive system.
In order to be a level 1 trauma center, staff at OU Health have to do disaster drills as well as take prolonged courses on disaster management. It's just a few more ways that one day of darkness has brought so much light to vital systems here in Oklahoma. And we'll bring you more stories reflecting this throughout the rest of the week, ladies.
Thanks, Abigail. Here in Norman, we have had a day full of bright sunshine and very strong winds.
Yeah, let's head over to OU Nightly meteorologist Taylor King to see what these winds might mean for us.
That's right, ladies. Today has been bright and sunny with those strong wind gusts, but what do those winds mean for us going into this holiday weekend? Well, we're going to have that wacky weekend over the holiday. Right now, we're looking at about 2 or more inches of rain, and here are our probabilities. Right now in Norman, we're sitting at about a 50 to 70% chance that we could see over 2 inches of rain here in Norman. Now, this is going to be associated with a severe weather risk that stretches across a lot of that region. And of course, we will keep you updated with team coverage as this continues over the weekend. So just to recap, we are having an active weekend coming up with heavy rain. And of course, your Easter forecast is coming up later. Ladies.
Thanks, Taylor. New details in the Trump administration's plans to shrink the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which impacts employees here in Norman. OU Nightly's Spencer Tabb joins us live in the newsroom what the cuts could mean for the university.
Yeah, Sophia, internal documents obtained by CNN show the Trump administration plans to cut NOAA's funding by more than 27% while eliminating the agency's research arm and closing all weather and climate labs. That could include OU's Cooperative Institute for Severe and High-Impact Weather Research and Operations, which means hundreds of jobs are on the line. While laying out OU's strategic plan, OU President Joe Harris acknowledged uncertainty around the university's funding.
anxiety on overhead rates for federal research and a lot of other issues. The biggest issue, I think, if you were to categorize them, is cultural polarization. I think it's the biggest threat that we face, making us hate each other.
The administration also intends to make cuts to education, grants, research, and other climate-related programs in NOAA. Emma, Sophia.
Thanks, Spencer. A judge finds probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt over ignoring the court's orders. OU Nightly's Taryn Ward has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
Sophia, the district judge in Washington, D.C. is saying the government's actions show a willful disregard for the court. It comes after the court's blocked use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged members of a Venezuelan gang last month, ordering flights with deportees to turn around. In the new court filing, the judge claims the Trump administration did not turn those flights around. If the court prosecutes the Trump administration, the White House says it plans to appeal. U.S. stocks drop after Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's warning over the consequences of President Trump's tariffs.
The level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated, and the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth.
Marks, the Dow and S&P fell about 2%. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq fell over 3%. Actions in the UK over the Supreme Court's new ruling outlining the legal definition of a woman.
The unanimous decision of this court is that the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010 refer to a biological woman and biological sex.
This ruling excludes transgender women from the definition of a woman, which critics say could have consequences for how equality laws are applied. Back here in the U.S., the Justice Department is suing Maine for not complying with President Trump's ban on transgender athletes in high school sports. Emma, Sophia.
Thanks, Taryn. OU Staff Senate encourages the OU community to donate food for elementary school children. Donations will be going to the regional food bank so they can fill backpacks for students to keep them well fed over the weekend and school holidays. Donation deadline is April 19th. Cash donations are accepted through the Staff Senate Cash App.
And on the East Coast, a strong earthquake struck California.
We'll have the details on that earthquake coming up.
And intense heat levels are threatening India and Pakistan.
What those heat waves look like for the rest of the year coming up.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
A rude wake-up call for millions in California after an earthquake shakes the southern part of the state into Mexico. OU Nightly's Cole Webster explains in today's Earth Report.
Sophia, that 5.2 magnitude earthquake was felt across a large part of Southern California Monday morning. Seismologists say the earthquake came earlier after a 3.3 magnitude foreshock on Sunday and could be associated with the fault line that runs through the area. The U.S. Geological Survey says those closest to the epicenter felt moderate shaking and about 25 million people experienced weak to light shaking. No deaths or injuries were reported. A cicada invasion is set to hit parts of the eastern United States this spring. Brood 14, the second largest periodical cicada brood in North America, is expected to emerge in roughly a dozen eastern states. This specific group comes out once every 17 years, the last time being 2008. The cicadas are expected to emerge when soil temperatures reach 64 degrees, which could happen in the next 2 months. Dangerous heat levels threaten India and Pakistan with an extended heat wave bringing temperatures of up to 120 degrees. To compare, that's like living in Death Valley, the hottest place in North America. And while these countries typically experience heat waves heading into this time of year, this season it arrived both sooner and is predicted to last longer than the usual. India's capital Delhi, with a population of more than 16 million, has already crossed 104 degrees Fahrenheit at least 3 times this month, up to 5 degrees above the seasonal average.
Thanks, Cole. Norman Animal Welfare Partners are shutting their lights off for a good cause.
Find out who they're helping this migration season coming up.
And OU Nightly meteorologist Alexa Dringus will be continuing team coverage, giving you the timeline for your holiday weekend.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable.
Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here?
Biologically, no.
Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable.
Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. We're continuing to track the chance for severe weather over the next couple of days. Currently, a marginal risk has been issued for most of Kansas and portions of western Oklahoma. Let's time this out. So mostly today, we're going to be pretty clear throughout the day until storms start to fire up just around 9 p.m. to the west of the state and eventually push in, impacting Wichita around 11 p.m. tonight. Those storms are going to linger, going to be pretty spotty showers, not really a line of storms until they push completely off to the east, and then they'll clear up early Thursday Thursday around 6 a.m., but that's when our second chance of severe weather begins, not impacting those of us here in Oklahoma, but really impacting Iowa and portions of Nebraska as well. Currently, they're in a slight risk, and all of the risks are currently there. Strong winds, hail, and even possibly tornadoes. So this is going to start off early around Thursday. We see those storm systems start to develop to the west of those states, and kind of eventually they'll start to push in east into Nebraska. But at the same time, there's another system that's forming just across Iowa up into Minnesota. So there's our two separate systems, but they're all working around the same time. So that's going to push off to the northeast, build up a little bit, and that's when we're finally really going to see that system out to the west push in to the east, impacting most of Nebraska around Friday 2 a.m. It's going to linger pretty much for a while over the night hours, but it's going to weaken, so mostly spotty showers and a few rumbles of thunder, nothing too severe earlier in the morning. And that's when we get into here in Oklahoma. This is our biggest risk day for us here during this week, a slight risk, and there's a chance for that to increase over the next 2 days or so. We've been tracking this for the last week or so, so anything is possible. And let me time this out for you. This event is going to pretty much last all day. So in the morning, we'll see that line of showers and storms, nothing too crazy, a few rumbles of thunder. But once we get into the mid-afternoon, we'll see this line start to develop to our southeast, and that'll push off to the east over that next couple of hours until 8 p.m. That's when we're really going to be impacted here in the metro. This line, it extends all the way from Texas all the way up into Kansas, right through the metro. So that's something we really want to be mindful of Friday. And that'll continue through the rest of Friday afternoon, pretty much lingering through the evening hours, and finally will dissipate around 2 a.m. And our biggest concern for that, again, we are monitoring the risk for hail, strong winds, and even tornadoes, but flooding, that is the biggest risk we are going to be seeing, not only with Friday, but Saturday and Sunday's chances for severe weather as well. So we can see that there's a chance for 2 or more inches of rain to be impacted us, mainly Friday, but this will also linger into Saturday and Sunday. And kind of just a brief overview. Again, so today, marginal risk mainly for western Oklahoma and portions of Kansas. Thursday, that's when we're going to see the risk for Iowa, and going into Friday, that's when we're going to see our risk for severe weather here in Oklahoma. So if you have any plans this weekend, I don't recommend on doing them outdoors. Push your plans to indoors, because even on Saturday and Sunday, we don't really have that much of a strong severe risk, but we will see a lot of rain.
Thank you so much, Alexa. And animal welfare advocates are joining forces to limit light pollution during the busy bird migration season. OU Nightly's Spencer Plato reports on how you can help birds migrate to their next home safely.
We expect hundreds of millions of birds to fly through Oklahoma between now and the end of May.
Imagine soaring and flying with a million other birds through the sky with no air traffic control. That's why Lights Out Oklahoma is being adopted by a collective of animal welfare groups, encouraging Oklahomans to turn off their exterior lights from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day starting now until the end of May.
Lights from suburbs, from cities, even from a single house like out on the prairie can confuse birds, because most of them actually migrate at night. So a city at night can look like the rising or setting sun, which is one of the things that birds use to navigate: stars, the moon, as well as the sun.
The Oklahoma City Zoo has already started doing their part by doing light audits around the park.
So we have already made adjustments to some of the timing that we have for our lights that are just on the surrounding pathways, and we dim those later in the evenings, and we also have the lights pointed directly down.
Wildcare Oklahoma says the bird population has seen a decline, and says billions of birds die a year from crashing into buildings because of light pollution.
It's in some ways our duty to do what we can to help these birds, because these are very dangerous journeys. It takes a lot of preparation on their part to even be able to make these journeys.
As for the birds here at the Oklahoma City Zoo, well, they're not going anywhere this migration season, but the Oklahoma Animal Coalition says there are steps you can take at home besides turning off those lights, such as keeping pets indoors like cats, and even placing stripes on your windows to make sure those birds make it to their final destination. Reporting at the Oklahoma City Zoo, Spencer Plato, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Spencer. Lights Out Oklahoma is running until May 31st, and you can find more information on the Oklahoma City Zoo website.
Norman and OKC are both very historical cities, but they have a chance to do something on the world stage for the first time.
And is Sooner Magic officially back in the transfer portal?
We'll have an update on that, and some Sooner Sluggers created some bedlam last night, while one OU star gets national recognition while another Sooner team seeks a national title. Don't touch that remote. Sports is coming at you next.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Hello, I'm Oliver Schaefer, and it's time for sports. Norman and Oklahoma City have been named as potential base camps for teams as the nation preps to host the beautiful game, the 2026 World Cup. While the teams will not select base camps until after the World Cup final draw, which is expected in December of 2025, the last time around, 31 years ago, neither city hosted a national squad. The 2026 edition of the World Cup will feature 48 teams, which makes it the largest World Cup in history. So wave your flag and support the beautiful game. Jim Nagy is bringing Sooner Magic back to the Plains as Oklahoma lands 24/7 Sports number 3 running back transfer in Cal's Jaden Ott. The senior-to-be ran for 1,315 yards in 2023, but struggled with an ankle injury, which hampered his junior season. The Sooners also add lineman Jake Michla from Stanford. The 16-game starter rolls in with 2 years of eligibility remaining. The Swing Sooners, fresh off of a series win against Vanderbilt, headed north to Stillwater to create some commotion. Starting hot with the 4 straight base hits, the Sooners jumped out to a 5-0 lead in the first. Freshman left-hander Jaden Barfield made his first collegiate start as he went 2 shutout innings. Jason Walk delivered the dagger, though, with OU's first grand slam of the season. The game was decided by run rule 11-1 in 8 innings. OU Women's Gymnastics begins their national title hunt as they travel to Fort Worth, Texas for the national semifinal, with the top 2 teams advancing to the 4 on the floor. Sooner seniors are no strangers to the bright lights, winning in 2022 and 2023. But according to Danner Sievers, the best is yet to come.
The number 2 ranking definitely lights a fire under us. It doesn't define our gymnastics. We know what we're capable of. But we're not really focused on the rankings. Like she said, we're focused on getting better each meet, and something Tom has been talking to us about is like becoming unrecognizable. So the next time you step out on that competition floor, nobody will know what to expect. So we're really just focusing on the little details and just being present.
And for the first time in over 2 decades, the Oklahoma women's basketball team has themselves a first-team Academic All-American. This is Beer's second Academic All-American honor, making second team last year. Emma, Sophia?
Thanks, Oliver. If you're in a hunt for a good time, Norman has an egg-siding Easter weekend planned.
Find out where to hop on over for a fun time after the break.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I'm Caroline Kramer at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The online platform Zoom is trying to determine what caused an outage that led to technical issues for tens of thousands of users this afternoon. Tracking website Down Detector showed over 65,000 global outages within the last hour. Zoom says the issue is now resolved. Sophia, Emma, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Caroline. For those staying in Norman this weekend, get ready to dust off your baskets and hunting skills. The annual spring egg hunt is back, kicking off at 5:30 p.m. on Friday, featuring food trucks, yard games, and the spring bunny.
All ages are welcome to join in on the hunt beginning promptly at 6:30 p.m., which will include an accessibility section. The event will be held at Andrews Park, located at 201 West Dawes Street. And definitely sounds like a fun time.
No, I know. Hopefully the weather will permit it to be such a fun time outside.
Unfortunately, it's looking like we're going to be pretty stormy on Friday. There may be a slight break in the weather in between 5 and 8 p.m., but 8 p.m., that's around the time we're looking for more storms to fire up in the metro area. And these storm systems are going to last into the weekend, so we're going to have a pretty rainy Easter weekend, but Friday is the biggest day of concern, and luckily we'll clear up by Monday.
Well, thank you so much, Alexa, and thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Sophia Cabrera.
And I am Emma McAndrews. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable.
Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here?
Biologically, no.
Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get